call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game I'm playing. Straight to the bank to collect my payments. No negotiations, it's my way, I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation.
You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
I don't know how to stop. I just go till I drop. Whether it's working or shots, give it all that I got. You can watch me work in my element. Anyone in the way is irrelevant. You wanna cross me, cool, not intelligent. Cause I don't forget shit like an elephant. Go ahead and tempt me, put it on the line and you'll come up empty. If I got time, I'm deadly. Never caught off guard, no, I'm always ready. I got a hand real steady. Look me in the eye and you'll see no hezzy. About to get real messy. I'll put you in a grid 6 feet like Kenny.
You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are back at it again with another episodes of Future Financial Updates. Shout out to the Wolfpack. Shout out to those of you who made it through the first month of the year 2024. We are rolling heavy and rolling hard into December or February. Good God, don't even know when it is. When you're working all the time, all the days bleed together. But I'm hoping those of you that have resolved to improve across the board, regardless whether it's financial, spiritual, physical, whatever it is, I hope that you're still in the game. Me personally, I don't make resolutions. I make plans, and we act accordingly. And as far as those plans go, we are on course. Now, obviously, considering that the first was on a Thursday, I had not done my end of month financials yet. So this obviously being the second episode of the month, we're going to have to break down the metrics first, and then we're going to jump into the topic of the stream because it's going to just be one thing. We're only talking about one thing after we get through these financial metrics. Now, I did start tracking a new metric that we're going to talk about. We're going to bring that up last. But moving in, obviously, I'm not one to sit on the internet and cap. Obviously, I know everybody on these panels out here in these YouTube streets are all getting it. Everybody makes 6 figures. Everybody just wins constantly. There's no losses. No one makes mistakes. The numbers never go against them. They live in this amazing reality where numbers just go up. They just constantly win no matter what. And that's just a flat out lie. So moving into a really great scenario because everything's great. But this month we did take a hit in the net worth department. The net worth actually went down a little tick. We had a pullback in crypto, as we know, very overexposed in crypto. This does happen. This is normal. The numbers don't just go straight up indefinitely. Like anyone who tells you that is also probably trying to sell you something, and B, they're lying. That's not how money works. So we took a hit on the net worth this month. It's down $2,000. We'll just say $2,500 for the collective total after the dust settled on tallying all the wins and losses from the month of December or month of January. I keep wanting to say December. Um, but couple of different metrics that we're looking at here. The next one we're going to look at is total saved. We were able to stock away $2,821 in the month of January, which is awesome. Worked a lot of overtime, had a lot of extra money coming in that we just saved. We just saved it. We also had a little bit of, actually, where did that go at? Nope, that's actually this month, so we don't have to talk about that yet. One of the things that was interesting was before the retracement at the end of the month of January, the month was booming. DeFi was booming. We broke $1,000 in DeFi income in the month of January. It's pretty nice hit. Pretty good add to the coffers. Obviously, we never cash out. We only reinvest. So, that's a good little bit. Another key metric that's a milestone for me personally is in the traditional finance side, our dividend income. We actually got that over $100. Now, the reason I find that interesting, and actually, as I was going through my savings, when I looked at the DeFi income for the month of January, I honestly, what I should have done was pivoted a good chunk of that money over into the traditional finance portfolio. That's what I probably should have done. Now, this month is not projected out to be as good as last month. Last month was a little bit of a windfall and a surprise. This month is going to be more tempered. It's going to still be decent, but it's not going to be what it was. The dividend income actually should be pretty consistent moving forward because DeFi moves, or traditional finance dividends, it's a slow burn. It's very boring. But like once it's set, it kind of moves. Like you kind of expect what you're going to get roughly, and it just stays consistent. So again, we finally got the dividend income up over $100, which is a bill. I mean, that's a phone bill. So we can clear a phone bill now. The next, I think the next metric is going to be a car payment. So now we're looking to double or triple that range because I don't accept high car payments. I know you guys are out there spending, I guess the current average is, what is it? It's like $740, which is insane. That is insane. That unbelievable. I'm very miserly when it comes to car payments because you're upside down in it. I don't like having them for very long. And if I can't pay it off in 2 years, I'm high key considering getting something else. Like I like to have those things where it's either something else is paying for it that's not coming out of my budget, which means I got to go acquire an asset or go acquire enough assets to cover that payment, or I don't get it. I just save up longer until I can make a bigger down payment and get the car or pay it off altogether. I mean, that's one thing. I don't like doing that either because I like being able to have most of my money going into the market. And now that the dividends have broke $100, that was kind of this is interesting for me. I'll start taking this a little bit serious in comparison to my crypto portfolio, which obviously we're looking at doing a lot of different stuff with, but it just, crypto space moves faster. Traditional finance is boring as heck to me. But at $100 a month, consistent, $1,200 a year, that is something to where I'm going to start taking interest in it a little bit more, start trying to get a little bit more out of it, kind of see where we can go with it, start putting a little bit more money into it. Now, the one thing I will add as a caveat is that is both collectively my Roth 401k and my brokerage, but it was almost split 50-50, which means that I'm going to be doing a lot more focus on the brokerage to get that up there because I do want that $100 a month coming in specific to the brokerage. I mean, I would like it specific to both of them, but the failure fund, the 401k, the Roth, I'm not really worried about. Not really that worried about it. Because I figure if I get to a point where I need that, there's a mistakes were made. B, all of that money that's coming out, and I understand it's a tax free. It's like taxes on dividends like 15%. Like that's lower than going to work. So for me, I would rather have all that money up front and just pay the 15% tax on the dividend and call it a day, because if I decide to stop working or decide to work less or go find something easier to do to apply myself to bide my time, then technically my taxes go down, because then I'm paying 15%. And you also get to ride that as a source of income. So if you're living solely off dividends, you have income that you can report that is in the lowest tax bracket possible, basically. So we're gonna make a pivot, because like obviously the brokerage account is gonna be the stay rich forever. And I'm trying to set it up in a fashion where I'm not having to sell off stuff to have that income come in. Because I'd like that easy income, that you got something that you can work off of, and then you can budget around that in the eventuality of things. Like obviously we've got a long way to go. It's only $100 right now, but when we start throwing some money at it and diversifying, because obviously we're diversifying out of the crypto space, and that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be in the crypto space. It's just when your portfolio is over 80-90% one thing, once you've solidified that one thing and have it going, as far as the income that we have coming in, the crypto portfolio is running itself at this point. Almost. It doesn't need the income that's coming in. So we're starting to look at other avenues, because we have crypto, real estate, and then my traditional finance portfolio. But I think where we're putting the money, obviously we're saving up and looking at sniping another property this year, hopefully. But where I'm sitting with it right now is like, now it's time to start turning the attention, since we're getting $100 in dividends a month, towards increasing that, because the goal is to get that up to where you're covering all of the core staples. And for me, the core staples would be housing, my mortgage payment. So we gotta cover a mortgage note, housing, my phone, internet, and then I can go hunt for the food. You know what I'm saying? Like you go work, get enough coming in for the food. But like if you have your housing, your phone, and your internet covered, and the car payment, I guess a car payment. I'm not the type of person who always has a car payment. I don't like them. It seems like an additional expense on a depreciating asset. If I need to get from A to B, I should just be able to get from A to B. But you could factor in a car payment there, because cars do break, and eventually you got to get a new one, and you could have that money just steady building to where you can just go do that. Like being able to get a new car probably every 5 to 6 years. I'm a man. I don't need a new car constantly. Would be a nice little creature comfort. So we'll throw that in there. That's four things basically of the core tenants, and it's like you can go find some busy work to handle your food and luxury stuff. But like you get in your core foundation, because then you could just go to work, make enough money to go on trips and do all the jet setting stuff that all these people do that'll be poor indefinitely, because they're doing that before they have a foundation with which to facilitate that. We could let's keep it a bean. Like a lot of the people that you see that are living these beautiful Instagram lives, they are broke in real life. Like if you actually catch them off the beach, off the photo op, it's not what you think it is. It's posturing. But me personally, I like to have things set to where it's a forever experience. I don't want to, if I'm going to quit working and tell you I'm out of the workforce, I don't want to ever have to go back. I don't want to have to be like, oh, forget this job, I'm not coming back. And then like a few years later, you see me working somewhere, like, because I have to. No. I'd like to have myself set up, because like I'm not the type of person who's also doing this to try to not work. I just would like to work on things I want to work on, stuff that I find interesting. I like to do the stuff that I want to do. And in order to facilitate that in a long-term life change that's permanent, I've got to do a bunch of stuff that I don't want to do now, and I'm fine with that. So we're looking at that, at the incomes. We hit some metrics this month. One was crypto being crypto. The other one was a lot of very boring, diligent work. And I mean, I've put the bare minimum of effort into my stock portfolios and my brokerage account, but we're gonna start looking a little bit more closely at that, because obviously we're getting those monthly income positions set, and we're getting to a point where we're going to be rolling into the next positions. We are also going to be doing some pivots specifically for the crypto acceptance into the traditional finance space. Going to be making some adjustments on that, because there's going to be some opportunities that are coming up over the bull run that will be, in my opinion and my thought process and the calculations that I'm making, going to be some life-changing opportunities for people in the traditional finance space that aren't exactly in the crypto space as heavy as myself, or at all. The next is going to be a new metric also, which I decided this year, because we've been talking about my goal and savings, and a lot of it's a lot better than what I originally thought it was. And I guess it's because I always factored because like I wanted to start tracking the percentage of my income that goes into the bank account that I'm saving. Now, with that said, I was always basing this off of just the W-2 income. How much of that am I saving? Because everybody bases off that. And like, as I'm looking, and because I was like, well, if you're looking at income is income. That's all of it. Now, I don't do the whole gross income, because the gross income doesn't count. The money that the government steals from you, I just pretend like it doesn't exist. So I don't care what my gross is. I care what the net is. And I base everything off the net, because the net's what you really see. The net is what you're actually working with. Like if your paycheck's $3,000 and you only see $2,000 of it, you don't have $3,000. Like you just have $2,000, unless you are just not paying taxes. That's just what it is. So I did this based off of all the income. This is the side income. This is DeFi. I also include the dividend income in there, because that's income as well. And when I tallied it all up and all the dust settles, I'm at 48.2%, or 48.82% is my current savings rate, which is awesome. Now, the goal was 50, and we're like within 2% of that. So like now it's almost like, with the way that things are working out, I'm almost looking towards seeing if the stretch goal on that is getting to 55%. Because if I can, because like I obviously, now a bunch of idiosyncrasies of my personal financial situation is I do keep that float during the bull run, I'll keep a float period, but during the bull run specifically, I keep that float of $5,000. Now we're like, we hit it rolling into January, because like we had Christmas, you got all your stupid stuff, and we're starting to chunk back down, like we're turtling up, we're going back to bricks to pay that down, because I don't like having to factor that in when I'm looking at reallocating or pulling stuff for other things, because like I'll give myself a float and I'll be like, hey, during the bull run, I'll pay this back with gains, because I can. But then I also will on that same note go, I just won't invest for a couple of months and I'll just pay it back with cash, like out of my pocket. Like I'll pay the debt off, because I would rather do that than cash out crypto. Like honestly, right now I'm running some numbers on some stuff, and we're going to make some financial decisions coming up to where I might not cash out the crypto savings because I don't want to cash out Bitcoin. Like I really don't like giving up assets, period. And I'm like, well, if I can figure out how to do this with cash and we don't have to use that nugget of Bitcoin, then we might not do that. But also, if it'll put me in a position where I can make a better deal in the real estate play, that's what that Bitcoin's there for. And that's what it's supposed to be used for. But if I can do it all cash on my end without having to come off of that, then that Bitcoin's just going to go into the reserves. Like that's just the honest to God's truth. But now we're going to get into the topic of the video, because something interesting happened, and it's got me back on my financial anarchist, I hate banks, I hate traditional finance institution mode of thought. Like, so I was trying to make a play on a product that I found that I tested out in my brokerage account, in my Roth. I test out a lot of stuff with my traditional finance stuff in the Roth, because if I need to sell it off real quick, it really doesn't affect too much anything, because it's kind of, the Roth is kind of just like, for me anyways, my Roth 401k is a play account. Like I just go in there, I'll test strategies, I'll see what kind of dividends a stock pays off monthly for these monthly stocks, and if I like it, I keep it. If I don't, I sell it off. So there was a play that I wanted to do that touches on Bitcoin, and it was a position that I'm getting into, and I'll probably do a full breakdown on it and just my thoughts and what I'm thinking and the results, because like it worked. We did it for a month, got the dividend. I was like, hey, that's a good amount of money for what I've got invested. I like this. This makes sense. So I was like, I went to go apply it to my brokerage account, my regular brokerage account, which is over at CitiBank, which the only reason I had that account over there was because we were trying to, why did I say it? Remember, people, we were trying to establish the private banking relationship with CitiBank. And the transaction gets blocked, and the notification on the blockage of the transaction of an ETF that was readily available, could be searched on their platform, could be added to the watch list on their platform, is readily sold on the stock market, been approved by the SEC, gone through all the regulations, done the hoops and hurdles in the market. Capitalism. You should have access to this. Everyone does. The notification that I got was it goes against the company CitiBank's recommendations. So I called, because it had a number with it. It was like, you can call us to talk about it. So I called them. So I get this guy on the phone, not from America, barely understand him, thick accent, okay, fine. Get him on the phone, and he goes through, he's checking. I'm like, I got this notification, says it's against your recommendations. I was like, I don't take your recommendations for my stock purchases, period. So I don't understand why I can't buy this stock that's on the market, this ETF. He gets back on the phone and he's like, oh, well, we don't allow anything crypto or Bitcoin related. And I was like, okay, I understand that. But this is on the stock market. This is like a publicly traded thing on the stock market. Like, it's on the stock market. This isn't me trying to buy Bitcoin. This isn't me trying to rope your establishment into anything fishy. This has been approved by the SEC. They went through the proper due process, and it's on the open market in the United States of America. And the answer that I got back was they don't have approval to allow those purchases for those specific types of product. So anything that's touching Bitcoin or the crypto industry, apparently, CitiBank is taking a stance that is just anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto, and they will not let you within their brokerage product of your own volition with your money that you paid for, that you put in there, purchase said products. So I'm going to close the account. I'm closing all of my accounts. I will not bank with them. The only thing I'm keeping is the credit card because I had the credit card to begin with. Like, I've had that credit card for a long time. I'm keeping the credit card. But as far as me putting money in a position for them to loan out via fractional reserve banking, as far as me putting my money into their brokerage for them to collect fees off my trades, no, I'm done. I am done. I am removing every dime that I have at that establishment that they can make money off of that's not the credit card. And to be honest, they're making the bare minimum off that credit card. They really are, because that's not my daily driver. So y'all might want to check your banks. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, and I understand it's a free market. They're their own business. So I don't want to tell them how they have to navigate within a capitalistic system. But what I am going to do is not support it, because the same way they don't want to support the market that's changed my lives, that's changed the lives of many people, that are giving people the ability to be out from under their thumb of them telling you what you can and can't do with your money that you work for, that you earned. The same way they don't want to support the space that was made to counter that exact ideology, that exact action. I'm not going to support them. I won't have my money there. I was like, I'll take my money over to Charles Schwab. Shout out to Charles Schwab. If you're not with Charles Schwab, maybe you should look at having your brokerages over at Charles Schwab, because you know what they let you do? Use your money as you see fit in the market once the companies do the due process and they're on the open market. So kudos to them. So they're getting all that brokerage money now. And I was doing a little bit of research. Maybe I might switch all my, like, I don't even know that I want to reopen a bank account now. Like, I'm so jaded on these people that are blocking opportunities for people to move forward financially, while on the other side of their mouths saying that they're for the people and they're for capitalism and they're for the free market and they want people to do better and they want people to have financial opportunity, while actively blocking the financial opportunity of this generation. So, this is the reason I've always advocated. I keep multiple bank accounts because I do fire banks. And telling me what I can't do with my money is 100% the fastest way to get fired from my money as a bank. I'm like, I don't want my money flowing through your system. Like, I'm not even keeping those checking accounts, because I'm like, if there's nothing that they can do that I can't do at my credit union account, because I still bill pay. I wasn't even using them for bill pay outside of the credit card that I have attached to them. All the other bill pay stuff comes out of my credit union account. I mean, looking at it, I could almost, if it wasn't for the 48-hour delay, I would almost have the checks deposited into my Cash App, but I like being able to shoot my bills off sooner rather than later, because I do pay that off. But I've already got my credit union account set up the exact same way that I had with my CitiBank account, and I'm just going to use it the exact same way, because this is absolutely ridiculous. It is unacceptable, in my opinion, and I don't want to do business with institutions that take that stance. The other institution that took that stance that I knew about before that I also removed my money from was Vanguard. As much as I like Ray Dalio, as very insightful as he is about some things, his stance on barring, because they did the same thing, they're barring anything crypto related, which means that you can't get a hold of any of the ETFs. You can't get a hold of any of the things that are built around the ETFs because they personally don't like it. The ego of these companies to tell it's just ego. And I understand it. Nobody wants to be everybody wants to be right, and none of these people want to be actually competed with. But the reality of the situation is they're wrong. They're on the wrong side of this. They're on the wrong side of history. And the only reason they're doing this is because if you get into these products and they're wrong, it's going to make them quadruple wrong. How much money are the people who are involved in the brokerage aspect over at CitiBank and Vanguard and potentially Chase Bank? Because, they were blocking whole bank accounts, which is why I don't have a bank account with them. How much money have you costed your people? Your clients that you say that you have a fiduciary duty to have their best interest in mind from a financial perspective. But from a financial perspective, you block them from being able to make life-changing money. So I sold my VOO stock holdings because we're getting to a point in time now where we got to start speaking with our dollars, people. Like, I'm not gonna support businesses that are adamantly doing the most anti-American thing you could possibly do, which is gatekeeping people's road to success. Remember, we're supposed to be able to manifest destiny over here in this country, and you're actively taking a stance to inhibit people from doing that because then it renders your industry, potentially your services, your companies obsolete. No, sir. No, sir. I will adamantly stand against that with every penny that I have. I will have no money in those ecosystems. I'm not going to support your ETFs. If I need to have a S&P 500 pegged ETF, it will be anything but Vanguards at this point. And considering the way that we're going to be restructuring the portfolio, I want my brokerage account 100% focused, directed at just having that income. It's going to be income play portfolio. Like we're going to the walls with it. We're going all in. We're going to see what we can eke out of it. See what kind of stuff we can get going, because after there's enough income, it's not income that I need. So it's getting all the income that I make from any stream that's outside of my job gets reinvested into whatever stream that is. So we're going to build the foundation of our portfolio. I'm going to kind of do this a little bit inverted, is we're going to focus 100% straight up, straight in on income. And then as that income comes in, because I don't do the drip method, I prefer to manually issue my trades, and we're going to go with that. But as we're building out that portfolio, we will be able to use that income to purchase our stock position plays. That's going to be the goal. But until then, we're just building income, and we're going to be reporting on that. We're going to be documenting that income, and looking at ways to maximize. And we'll talk about the plays that I'm going to be using and the stocks. And yeah, but to sum it up, I'm firing CitiBank. I'm going back to using my credit union and my brokerage. Those are already linked. We're going to be actually getting into what I consider a big kid brokerage. Charles Schwab, your Fidelities, your E-Trade, the real ones, the big kid brokerages. We're going back to that because like I tried to do this whole private banking relationship thing, and over at Charles Schwab they say once you have $1 million in qualified assets, they'll let you step into that realm over there, and we might see what that's about because we're going to be building out that portfolio pretty much indefinitely. So I'm pretty sure at some point it'll hit it, but until I find somewhere that actually offers those services in a means to that aligns with my values, I'm not going to just try to get it just to throw it in as a flex that I got it. Like, I mean, there's a million ways to skin this financial cat, and I'm not going to work with an establishment that tells me what I can and can't do with my money within the legal means of the laws. Cause like, these companies are getting busted with trucks ferrying illicit things that are illegal, and they just get fines. And they're telling me what I cannot do within the legal realms of the market. They're barring off parts of the market, the stock market, people. And I think that there needs to be a mass exodus. I will not stop talking about this. I will be the squeaky wheel. I will be talking trash on these institutions indefinitely. And maybe when they change their tune after it's too late, some people will go back. I might not. Like, this is a very sour taste to be left in my mouth because everything else was great over there. I really like the platform. I like the experience that I had up until them telling me that I couldn't invest in things that are on the open stock market that are publicly traded. Up until that point, it was fantastic. And it just like in those murder mysteries, it was the best of times until it wasn't. And it wasn't. So it's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero. You might want to check your bank and make sure that they're not going to try to shut down your account for moving money to Coinbase or not let you buy openly traded products on the United States of America stock market because it is tied to Bitcoin or crypto. Till next week. Peace.